So unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to weigh in on the paternity leave discourse that transpired after Tucker Carlson decided to attack Pete Buttigieg for going on paternity leave after having twins. And I do want to weigh in now because more people are weighing in, and apparently people have really strong feelings about paternity leave. And to me, you might not be surprised by this, but my view is that it's good. I think that taking more time off to enjoy life and the big moments in life is an objectively good thing. But Joe Rogan is going to weigh in, and I mean, maybe people will be surprised with his take. This is someone who's kind of viewed as the average Joe. Ideologically, he kind of represents middle America, and he's usually pro-worker, and a lot of blue-collar people listen to him. So, of course, he's going to weigh in with a really pro-worker stance on the issue of paternity leave, right? Well, no. In fact, he's going to sound like the out-of-touch multimillionaire that he is in actuality. Take a look.
But here's the thing. One of you should do that. One of you should take care of the children. Like, this idea that both parents should get maternity and paternity leave at the same time is a little weird.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't. Only
Why?
because I have a German cousin and they get the shit. I mean, they get like a full year for the woman and 9 months for the husband.
That's great. You want to live in Germany? Because in America, you got to work. Like, here's the thing. If you have a small business, you're the one who loves small businesses, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
No,
if
you
have
can't
an employee,
take maternity leave.
Imagine if you have an employee and this is your fucking CEO of your little company or whatever, and the wife has a baby and the husband's like, I'm taking 4 months off. You're like, what the are you talking about?
So he says the idea that both parents take time off when a child is born is weird. And I don't know why that's weird. I mean, I guess that in the context of American late-stage capitalism, it's weird because there's this expectation that we work ourselves to death, literally, and taking time off is just frowned upon, right? If you work and work and work and you never have a day off, that's actually good. It speaks to, your tenacity as a worker, and you're going to make it. Except that's not realistic, and that's anti-human. I think that as human beings, we are entitled to enjoy life. It's wrong that we're just working ourselves to death at the behest of our capitalist overlords. People have a right to just enjoy life. Why is it so weird that people take time off to celebrate a really important moment in their lives? I mean, having a child is the most significant moment in many people's lives. So why shouldn't they be able to enjoy that? If you're a father, why shouldn't you be there or be able to be there to help raise that child, be there as a support system for the mother? Or if you're a same-sex couple, why can't you both be there to get to know your children? It's weird that he thinks it's weird. And he says, it's great that they have that in Germany, but in America, you got to work. In America, you got to work. In other words, work yourself to death, take no time for enjoyment. I mean, for Joe Rogan to say that as a multimillionaire who gets paid millions of dollars to talk for a living, maybe, it's easy from his perspective to say that because every day feels like a vacation to him because his work is pretty easy, in comparison with the average American. But for most people, they fucking hate their jobs. It makes them miserable. It makes them hate life. They fucking hate their jobs. So God forbid they take more time off to enjoy life. I just don't get it. Like, this is really a privileged and elitist view that tells me Joe Rogan he hasn't worked a normal job in a very long time because people don't like their jobs. If you're living a 9-to-5 life or you're working a regular job in fast food or retail, I mean, you're already miserable. So you should be allowed time to just, follow your passion, travel, enjoy art, take up a fucking hobby, just get back, smoke weed and play video games. Why is this so wrong? I just don't get it. And he carves out this exception for CEOs and says, well, I mean, if you're a CEO, taking 4 months off, that's kind of weird, right? Look, I think that is a weird exception. What we're talking about here when we're talking about paternity leave and worker rights more broadly is just normal working class people. But I mean, if you want to carve out an exception and not allow CEOs and top company executives to take paternity leave, okay, I mean, they get paid 350 times higher than their employees, so I'd be fine with carving out exceptions for them and not allowing them to get paternity leave. I mean, I don't really care. What I care about is workers. But he's going to explain how, if you look at this from the perspective of the employer, well, you can see why they might not support something like paternity leave.
I'm questioning who do you believe should pay for something like that?
I don't know, but if I was an employer and I had a guy who worked for me, who wanted to take 3 months off because his wife gave birth, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mike?
Even to support his wife?
Did you give birth? To support his wife, I pay him for free. Do you understand that this is kind of, most people, when this happens, if they make enough money, the wife will not work and the father will work.
Right.
And then the wife takes care of the child. And this is normal.
Yeah.
And then the dad provides support when he comes home. If you're saying that the man and the woman should both get like 3 months off, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Isn't
it's
it?
not new in Europe, but
we're not in Europe. This is better. This is America.
Better for a multimillionaire like you, but Europe is better for people. Objectively so. People in Europe, they don't live perfect lives. It's not a utopia, but they at least have healthcare. They at least have basic rights when it comes to the workplace. So it's really easy for someone who gets paid to talk for a living, handsomely, to say that. But it's not the reality for most people. Americans are overworked and underpaid, and they're fucking miserable. They hate life. And that's not something that anyone is shocked by unless you're as out of touch as Joe Rogan. And he says here, if you're saying that the man and the woman should both get like 3 months off, this is a new thing. Again, it's not a new thing. It's just new to us because we're used to getting fucked over by a government that doesn't care about us. But yet here you are shilling for the government when you're supposed to be like anti-establishment and a populist. I don't know what he identifies as. I don't even know if he's still LARPing as a leftist, but to say that paternity leave is bad, I think that's elitist. That is inherently anti-worker. And look, I'll give Joe Rogan credit. It's not as bad as Steven Crowder, who claimed that paternity leave is for pussies, I think. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but it seems like people on the right are really against paternity leave. But on the left, I mean, I don't think it's that controversial, except, some people who are still purporting to be left, apparently they do take issue with it. I mean, this is what Jimmy Dore said in response to Pete Buttigieg going on paternity leave.
I don't know if she's on leave like Pete Buttigieg has been amidst the worst transportation crisis that I can remember, but you don't really see her around too much.
Well, I mean, he gave birth. It's going to take him a few months.
Yes, because two men can't have a baby. I mean, it doesn't work that way. What is he going to do? Push the baby out of his asshole? So, of course, paternity leave is bad because Daddy Tucker tells me that that's what I should believe. I'm a comedian. I mean, in the media misinformation human centipede, Tucker Carlson is the head. So, of course, the misinformation flows downward, and Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore are going to recite the same things that Daddy Tucker says. But, I mean, as someone who can't stand Pete Buttigieg, if you let your hate for Pete Buttigieg, which is justifiable, lead you to the conclusion that paternity leave is bad, then congratulations, you're not a serious person. Paternity leave is good. And yes, we should have paternity leave. This shouldn't be a controversial thing if you are actually pro-worker.
Ideas. In recovery mode, my brain ideas. In recovery mode, my brain ideas.